Hey there, YouTube. Here we are on the other side of what I thought would be my biggest challenge on the bow. Well, structurally, my biggest challenge on the bow. We now have two halves hooked together. Finally starting to get a really good feel for how big the bow is going to end up being. I don't have the pieces on either end attached currently, and that's going to add about another foot, top and bottom. So yeah, this thing's going to be pretty damn big when it's put together. I've started seeing, some other really good Hanzo costumes out there. So far, all their bows are smaller than mine, which my bow might not be the best, but it may be the biggest. That's clearly what we should be going for, right? So, let's talk about how I did what I did, and I guess once everything dries, we'll know if it worked out. So, what I did is last video we talked about the internal skeletal structure I built around this. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of separation, probably because I was, trying to tilt this to get the angle on the handle right, so it kind of popped the mid part of that U section out of its socket, which is less than ideal. It still seemed to be holding itself together fairly well. Not ideally, but, fairly well. What I did, as also part of what I, was doing to hook the two halves together, is I stuffed the entirety of that section with paper mache pulp, which anybody who hasn't worked with that before, all that really is paper fiber mixed with some kind of glue. Like some people use Elmer's glue. For this, I used wood glue. So you basically end up with this mass of fiber reinforced glue, and the glue I used said it was stronger than wood, so the glue itself is just reinforced with all those paper fibers. So yeah, that I guess we'll see if that's sturdy or not. Of course, before I filled everything in, I added a little bit more bracing to this one wood piece that is pretty much what's holding the two halves together, is this thin slat of wood threaded through, the side gimbal section of the bow. I don't think it doesn't move, so it's not a gimbal, but I don't know, it's cool and it's weird and it's science fiction-y looking, but it doesn't seem like it's got any particular purpose. You never see Hanzo's bow like fold in half or anything. Coming out into the other side of this, it was the same sort of deal where I needed to fill this up with something to, connect. So it's not just a piece of wood sticking into a hollow paper shape. That's not going to do anything. I needed to fill it with something. So instead of paper mache pulp, I used paper clay in this section for no specific reason. I kind of just gave it a shot because I was running out of glue and paper, but Unfortunately, for both of those solutions, particularly the paper clay, it is a very wet solution in the shape made out of paper. What could go wrong? So it is currently drying, and that is what is going to be our biggest hang-up to getting more stuff done on the project, is waiting for that to dry. I have fans at the ready. It's going back on the drying rack as soon as I'm done with this video. Yeah, and this isn't attached yet, so I can, let more airflow down there. Again, it's hard to tell when everything's not dry yet, but it seems sturdy and it seems to be working. So after that, we will structurally pretty much have everything done. And what will be left will be filling the inside and finishing the outside, which sounds super simple, but finishing the outside is going to involve so much Bondo and so much sanding, and then plastic, and then painting, and then adding the fabric wraps, which I have ideas on. It's going to be a while before I need to get to that, and it's going to be a while before they start really selling sweaters in the stores, which is actually what I'm going to look at for fabric for this guy, because the wraps actually look a lot better on the HD model of Hanzo's bow that we've got on the Dragons animated short. So since we're kind of waiting on drying time before I can get a whole lot else on this done, there will be a little bit of a lapse in the next video getting done. probably not as bad as, when I wasn't able to work on the projects, but a little bit of a gap. In the meantime, I'm going to try to post a couple small videos about individual little projects, so I hope you guys are interested enough in what I'm doing to stick around for those, and I will see you there.